The Near East Side is a community built on pride. It has served as one of the chief African American communities in Columbus since 1915. In its beginning stages, as it grew and thrived, the need for a community center where all could gather was realized. It was then, with the help of civic leaders like Nimrod Allen and Julius Rosenwald, that the Spring Street YMCA was born. Soon, young men found affordable housing, attended college courses, played basketball, participated in weekend events, and found a place to grow stronger in mind, body, and spirit. Since its founding, the Spring Street YMCA and its successors have been advocating for the rights and needs of the African American community for more than 100 years. The rich history and legacy of the Near East Side and the Spring Street YMCA continues to live on through the Eldon and Elsie Ward Family YMCA and through each community member that walks in the Y's doors. Tonight, we pay homage to that history and legacy and look forward to a bright future filled with impact and promise.
If you're asking me, Leonard King, about the east side of Columbus, man, it's one of the best side of towns in the country of the US of A.
Well, my teenage years basically were spent at Franklin Park, playing sports. I attended Fairwood Avenue School, Roosevelt Junior High, which is Roosevelt is more southeast, but I still had a lot of connections with the Near East Side because I spent a lot of time at Franklin Park and also here at the YMCA. A lot of families, a lot of children to play with, and you know we worship on the East Side. I think it has always represented a tapestry of different professionals as well as working class individuals, services to meet the needs of the community, strong schools on all grade levels, and also just many positive role models.
On Mount Vernon Avenue, there were movie theaters, the Cameo, and on Long Street, the Lincoln, and also the Empress.
Right.
And so those were the four movie houses out there on the east side that we all went to, depending on what was being presented that time. I mean, it was just, we had a good childhood. We rode the bus a lot. Even when we had games at school, we all were going to the basketball games. We had the first 1951 was our championship game.
Right,
we had
right.
a championship basketball team, and of course the East High Tigers were the team to beat.
I grew up across the street from Poindexter Village, which is a historical community. I grew up at a time in the 80s when the community was transitioning. But growing up and having the community there, I should say, my family has been a part of the community for over 50, 60 years. So I grew up knowing a lot about the community. I was able to see the East High Tigers march down Long Street at a memorable time as a little girl.
Poindexter Village was one of the places on Friday evening that we all used to go to, which was on Champion Avenue.
Right.
We had our own little area there on the east side where it was, it was just predominantly black, and we just all went to places out there because we knew we were comfortable out there.
The Y was the main thing, you know, because over at Pointers, they didn't have like a place we played basketball, nothing like that. It was just like a center that you go to.
So we knew that it was safe, and I think our parents knew that. And you know, if you say you're going to the Y, or may I go to the Y, if you don't tell them you're going, may I go to the Y, then they knew that it was a safe place. And I think a lot of things that we learned down there was respect.
Right.
There were no fights. I don't ever recall having a fight there about anything, even the basketball.
Right.
I mean, I don't ever recall that. So I mean, it's just one of those things. When you came into that environment, you knew that there was a certain way that you were supposed to act. And
Mr. Newsom was very supportive of all the kids there, and he always gave us good directions about things to do and stuff. He was always at the Y, like he was director of the Y, in fact.
And he just took us under his wing. He coordinated the Wolverines Club for us, and I mean, he was always there. And we had a lot of people that went on to do good things, and I mean, they were all good kids. I think we can attribute that to Mr. Newsom because
he was really supportive of us.
Yes, this down here is the actual group of
Wolverine.
Can you point to you, Cruz?
Oh, that's me right here, and this is Barbara here.
But yes, this was a great group of people here.
But if there was a male that kept me in check, that even now at 67 years old, when there are things that are on the borderline that I want to do, there's a man by the name of Claude Willis from the downtown Spring Street YMCA that stays in my forefront. And don't get me wrong now, because I was a pistol. And Claude Willis took every hit to make me understand that I could always be better than the behavior that I was putting out. And that's when I say the east side of Columbus is fantastic, because you take a wretch like me, you see what I'm saying, and point me down the path where I go to HBCU, graduated, did end up graduating from Vanderbilt University, then I would say my first memories, my first touch, my first beginning of being a man from a little boy started at the downtown YMCA with Claude Willis.
I was in a Learn to Swim program, and you know, that was important to get that first swimming badge, to move from minnow to, I forget what the levels were, but that was a really, really big deal. Saturday mornings, they showed movies, they gave you snacks. Also, I was taken to see I was on a trip to see the Cleveland Indians play. They put us on the bus and they took us way up to Cleveland. The Y has always provided me with a positive foundation within this community. There were many, many activities during my teenage years here, dances, social events, that sort of thing. So it was more so a hub in the community, not only to swim and to play basketball or to participate in some of the other activities, but it was a hub of social awareness, social participation.
I took my first swimming lesson in the YMCA. The pool was just a little bit bigger than this room. I became a lifeguard at 13, a junior lifeguard, and then I became a senior lifeguard with the encouragement of a guy by the name of Claude Willis and also Bob Boyd.
I think the biggest thing about the Y, when I was growing up, it was a safe place. Everywhere in the 80s wasn't a safe place in this community. It was transitioning. But I can say that when we came to the Y and to the Martin Luther King Library was our safe places.
I think there are a lot of people that are still around that were participants of the YMCA at that time that are close to my age or either my age or a little older, could tell you the same thing that I'm saying. The Y was very influential on our paths that we took.
Y gave me a greater sense of being in giving back, being of service, helping the young people, give them opportunities, because that's what the Y gave me. It's more than brick and mortar. It's the passion of the staff. I'll say it, we just didn't turn kids away because they didn't have, we gave them, we scholarshiped, but I will donate time, money, and effort to help this community.
I owe a lot to the building, to the legacy of the Young Men's Christian Association. Whatever we need to do, then those that are blessed through our foundations, whomever it is, we got a responsibility, to reach back. We as the community got to grasp it. Like I'm saying, it takes a whole village, and we got to do our part in terms of supporting the programs and things, the leadership, and the direction in our community that's viable and presented to us by the YMCA.